Well, George Santos is no longer a member of Congress after being expelled from the House. It happened on Friday. A House Ethics Committee report found the disgraced Republican lied about his background to get elected and cheated donors by using campaign money to pay for personal expenses like Botox, luxury clothing, and adult websites.
The former congressman has also been indicted and pled not guilty to federal corruption charges. Joining us now with more of what could happen next is the Republican Congressman Anthony D'Esposito. You were the first Republican who basically sounded the alarm on George Santos. And by the way, George Santos is going after everybody, accusing people of ethics violations, outing people. Yeah. What's going on with that? By the way, your name was not mentioned.
Not yet, I guess. Yes. But, you know, listen, I made it abundantly clear throughout this process that this was never personal. I believe that you know, the people of the 3rd Congressional District, when they voted to elect George Santos, they elected and voted for someone who's not real. You know, it very well could have been a Disney character that they were voting for because it wasn't that person.
But meanwhile, it puts you guys in an awkward position in D.C. You may not have the votes to do what you need to do.
It sure does. You know, we already had a slim majority in the 118th Congress. Obviously, we've seen over the last months that there's been some infighting. We had the Speaker of the House was vacated for the first time in American history. We spent 3 weeks, which seemed like an infighting battle on trying to find a new Speaker. We elected Mike Johnson, who spent the weekend with us here on Long Island and in New York City. And now we have to work as hard as we possibly can. And I know that we have the ability for anyone that's been paying attention. I mean, Nassau County has had 3 great years. In 21, we took back the county executive race with Bruce Blakeman. In 2022, we elected all 4 members of Congress on Long Island. In 23, we took back the city of Long Beach, North Hempstead.
But this is going to be a tough one. They're putting up Tom Suozzi, right?
A lot of people are saying this is going to be a bellwether of what the eventual election could look like next year. And what do you make of what's going to happen next?
I am very confident. I am confident in our leadership in Nassau County. Chairman Cairo, I would argue, is one of the best you know, political minds in this country. So he's going to put a team together. He's going to find a candidate, a good Republican conservative candidate who's going to work hard, who's trustworthy, who's ethical, and we are going to go in there and take that seat and keep it a big shade of red.
Looks like Democrats may put up Tom Suozzi, who obviously was a former member of Congress. What are the names? Who are you thinking? What are you hearing out there about who it could be on the Republican side? Yes. Are you part of those conversations?
Yeah, we've had, I think there's now probably 24 individuals who have thrown their name in the hat that want to run. Some of them have already registered with the FEC in starting accounts and beginning to raise money. Chairman Cairo and the team have been interviewing probably since Friday. I know that they're going to continue those interviews today. And again, I'm confident in his leadership that we'll find the right candidate to keep that seat.
Yeah, but what are the issues? Because, you know, Tom Suozzi, he's got the name recognition.
He sure does. But, you know, Tom Suozzi also, and Tom and I graduated from the same high school, Chaminade High School, but, you know, he spent some time in Congress and then wanted to be governor. And there are people that are a little upset that, you know, really, Santos is because of Tom Suozzi. Tom Suozzi gave up that seat to run for governor in a situation that most people were pretty confident he wasn't going to win. And then we were left with George Santos. So it's also a different district than he ran in. And again, what we've seen over the last 3 years in Nassau County, it is a bright shade of red, and it will be a little bit redder come that special election day.
Okay, can we talk about a problem that Nicole Malliotakis, one of your former congresspeople, is sounding the alarm on Staten Island. She is claiming that one of the migrant nonprofits are going in and encouraging migrants who just got off, you know, or just got off the bus 2 seconds ago to sign up for a party here in New York City and vote in New York City election. Do we know, is there any kind of truth to this?
Well, we're kind of looking through it right now. I know that I was with Nicole yesterday in New York City, and she had mentioned it, that it was part of a contract from a nonprofit organization that basically part of the stipulation was that those living in these migrant shelters were given voter registration forms, had to register. You know, there's been, I think,
it would be illegal to actually...
Absolutely illegal, and some individuals on the other side have been saying, well, it was part of a boilerplate, it was a mistake. Mistake or not, I think what this shows is that this is a continuation of the failed policies here in New York City on this migrant crisis.
Do you need more Democrats in New York City? Because I thought that was okay.
I don't think so.
I thought they were good with the Democrats.
I think they have the number that they need.
The business of Washington continues with or without George Santos. I know you're holding some hearings this week when it comes to the migrant crisis, and particularly looking at issues of how it affects first responders in some of these agencies. What have you found so far?
So, I mean, we've obviously been talking over the last months about how there's increased crime, there's repeat offenders, those who are going out there, migrants that are committing crimes, being released because of the failed criminal justice reform policies, and then back out on the street to commit more crimes. Tomorrow, we're going to have a hearing, Homeland Security. I chair the subcommittee on emergency management and technology. We are going to talk about how the migrant issue is affecting public safety throughout this country. We have a sheriff from the southern border. We're going to talk to the president of the UFA. I know that you had him on earlier about the effects that it's having on the FDNY and EMS.
What kind of effects have you heard about?
Well, I mean, the shortage of manning firehouses.
Right, because
as we move forward, there's going to be a 5% cut. I think there's one that's already taken place. The mayor plans on another 5% cut in 3 months, and then another 3 months after that. That's a 15% cut.
What's going on in
D.C.?
You know what? Listen, what's going on in D.C.? You work there.
I do.
Why isn't the Biden administration saying something? Where is Schumer?
Listen,
where's Kirsten Gillibrand?
And that's a great point. There are a lot of issues that we're facing that Schumer's been quiet on. The House Republicans passed the Secure the Border Act back in May and sent it over to the Senate to be looked at, and it's still collecting dust on Schumer's desk. There's another piece of legislation. I mean, we have the funding for Israel that we passed immediately when Speaker Johnson became Speaker. That is also at the Senate waiting. Schumer gave this impassioned speech the other day of his support of Israel. He's the leader of the United States Senate. Get the bill on the floor, pass it, and let's get the money over to Israel.
Speaking of the Israeli funding, we know that Senator Bernie Sanders has said Israel shouldn't have a blank check without some kind of at least restrictions or better attention to limiting the number of civilians killed in this conflict. What do you make of what he's saying there, and would you be willing to go along?
I wouldn't. I don't think I would take negotiating skills from Bernie Sanders at any point. I think the facts are pretty clear. This was a terrorist attack. I mean, Hamas came in and brutally murdered and raped and pillaged, and they deserve to be eradicated off the face of the earth. And Israel's our greatest ally. We need to provide all the support that we can. I've visited Israel twice this year, and I look forward to being back soon. I know Speaker Johnson was recently invited to speak at the Knesset. He will be the third Speaker of the House in history to speak at the Knesset, and I hope to join him on that trip. We need to continue to make sure that we provide everything that we can to Israel. They are our greatest ally, and an attack on Israel is an attack on the United States of America.
What about all these protests happening? I guess you don't have many of them in Nassau and Suffolk County, but in New York City last weekend, I mean, they tried to storm the Museum of Natural History.
Yeah, during the tree lighting.
They tried to disrupt the tree lighting. They defaced a museum, $75,000. The public library.
So I've spoken to a lot of my colleagues that I used to work with in the NYPD, and we're seeing similarities to a lot of the BLM protests, where these individuals they're protesting not because they truly believe in Palestine.
Are they paid?
A lot of them are paid.
Are they the same kind of?
They could be the same people. I think they are individuals that love turmoil, and they generate revenue from it.
What can we do?
I think we need to continue to make sure people realize that we stand with Israel and we're not going anywhere. We're going to provide the funding, and we need to hold them accountable. Those that are committing crimes in this city should be locked up, they should be prosecuted, and not let out of jail 5 minutes later.
Congressman D'Esposito, good luck in D.C.
Thank you.
We could use a few extra bucks in New York City. I don't know if you noticed.
We're working on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.